Hey, what's up? It's Laura Landers, and you are listening to the Live Sick, Die Ill podcast. And today we are talking about dissatisfaction in life. And specifically, we're going to be talking to Jordan Ray Landers about dissatisfaction because he knows a thing or two about it, which could also sound really sad.
That's like a joke.
It's
a roast.
I'm right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Speaking of dissatisfaction, I can't even.
It's a great intro.
Roast of Jordan Ray Landers.
Basically, whether you are in a relationship or not in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship and you just feel like you've been single your whole life and so you're dissatisfied in your singleness. This isn't even a relationship topic. This could be that you have financial goals and you've just been trying to save for years and you want a house, but you feel like you've made no dent on saving money. I mean, whatever it is, right? Like the holding pattern in waiting can be very frustrating and lead to a lot of unsatisfaction in life, or dissatisfaction in life. So, Jordan Ray Landers, we have you here because
Laura Ray Landers.
Oh,
Laurel.
That would be weird. Not to make this sound like super sad, but you and I had conversations about your life and you're unsatisfied.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like, and that's the thing is, I really wanted to talk about this conversation because dissatisfaction is a huge part of life.
Of course.
Whether it's dissatisfaction in big things or even the small things, like whatever matters most to you at that time in life, you can still be really unsatisfied. And being able to cope with dissatisfaction, is a really good skill to have. And not everyone has it. I don't know if you and I have it. I almost feel like it's a skill. It's like patience. You never really have patience. You really don't. I mean, I can only really speak for myself because I'm not anyone else. But, you pray for patience, you need patience, and then you think you get it, and then something else happens where you need the patience and you don't have it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like the topic of being unsatisfied is the same exact thing. You can feel like you can fix the feeling of being unsatisfied for something and then something else comes along and you're unsatisfied with that too. Is that something you agree with? I just see you nodding. You're not speaking, so I have no idea.
I like this conversation.
So let's dive in because I don't know. I'm diving in. I'm going deep. What is that? DC
Stephen
Talk?
Curtis Chapman.
Oh, Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Oh, man.
I don't even know why I know that because I'm not a... Anyways.
Because you're a Christian.
Yeah, but...
Once you get saved, you come out singing dive, somehow already knowing all the lyrics.
That's so funny. Okay, so basically let's start with kind of your past. Not too much, but let's just give a little backstory as to why you're dealing with unsatisfaction now. I'm not saying I'm not, but we're here to talk about your life. So...
It's not me, it's you.
It's not me, it's you. So basically, you have been playing music since you were 13 years old and you want to do music full time.
Yes, that's the goal.
Yeah. So you have done things in the music industry. It's not that you haven't. You've been in tons of bands, you've toured, you played with a big time artist here in LA for live shows. You've done these things, but I know that's not enough for you.
Right.
You you reached the point of whatever it is, Coldplay status or whatever. I know. Don't we all wish?
With their paychecks.
Even I'm not a musician and I'm like, I want to be in Coldplay. I want to be Chris
You went to their
Martin.
concert though, right?
Oh, yes. It's literally
Did you feel
the
like
most...
you were a part of Coldplay?
Oh, no. It was just the most magical experience I've ever had in my life. And I use that word very specifically.
I know I'm kind of jumping off topic here, but I think that in a concert.
Yeah.
Because with streaming and now, you watch one and you're like, you know what? I don't need to see them live. I just watched it and I can
see like the Katy Perry documentaries or the Taylor Swift documentaries. You see the behind the scenes and you're like, oh, I'm good. I even got the backstage view. Not with Coldplay.
For it to be an experience, that's the goal.
Oh yeah,
to play a show.
I was weeping.
Oh,
it was
in a good way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I cry in general, but
that's a moment, man. I know it's like as a musician to be like, that's just another tour night, but that is a moment for people.
Oh yeah. And I will literally never forget that. And I'm not a big concert person in general.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I am now that 2020 hasn't allowed us to go to them. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
you don't have.
You're a rebel. So you want to do what you can't do. But
nice.
Yeah, but, I have only been to a small handful of concerts, and that one was unforgettable. I would do it over and over and over and over again.
Okay. I would.
For that.
Well, I would love to see them. I haven't yet.
Anyway, sorry. Wow, we really digress with that. So we're talking about Dissatisfaction and you wanting to play music for your full-time career is what you want to be doing. You know, everyone who moves out to LA wants to do something for their full-time career, and usually 3% of them get to do it for their full-time career within the first 5 years that they move here.
Right.
And if they can sustain that, awesome. And if they can't, you know, bye-bye. And then the people, it's true, right? And then the people that are out here for the long haul, like 10 years, you get the outside people looking in thinking like, oh man, they're just like wasting their life paying so much money to live in LA or New York or whatever, and they're never going to get there. And then you get the people that live here that know the dedication to their dream and the struggle, and you do see the people that have been here for 15 years finally break through if it's meant to be. And if not, maybe their dreams shift and then they move on to something else. And who knows if they're really dealing with being unsatisfied or not in that. You know, you never really know someone's thoughts. They could be on Instagram saying like, I decided to do real estate and I'm stoked on it. And you're like, that's awesome. I'm so glad you found something you love and that you can do now. But are they really satisfied in it?
Exactly.
You'll never know. Maybe they are and you want them to be so you can be happy for them. Maybe they're not. So with you being out here in LA, going after music, you want to be here. You want to do that full time. You are not doing that full time.
I am not.
Just
I don't think anyone is at this point, but in general.
Non-pandemic world, right? You weren't, and who knows? Maybe you would be now. You actually could have been doing it full time now.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? And you know, same for me. Like I could be doing what I want to be doing full time and not working other jobs or whatever. But I think everyone's kind of dealing with that. At least in the creative world. I don't know about Middle America. If you're listening in Middle America, actually, I'd really like to know. If please leave a comment or reach out or something. I want to know if you are doing what you love now and you're totally satisfied. I want to have that conversation. But right now we're having the conversation with you, Jordan, and I want to know, because you and I have conversations about you being unsatisfied. Kind of, I mean, I say quite frequently. That's not super frequent in the eyes of others, but
it's a decent amount of time.
Because I know you. You know, I would say maybe once a month we have this conversation. And that's why I wanted you on here, because I feel like a lot of people are dealing with, maybe because of the pandemic, but maybe even before the pandemic.
Right.
We were unsatisfied in some area of our life. And there's got to be that glimmer of hope, right? Because there's a chance where you're like in the airplane up in the air and you're like in this holding pattern and you can't quite land the plane yet because there's other people on the tarmac, so you're just having to wait, and you're in this cramped airplane and it's really frustrating, and you're with the guy who's coughing next to you who's really big and taking up the seat, and you're in the middle seat and you just want to get off so bad, but it's just not your time.
That is such a specific instance, but I know everyone's
been there.
To that.
Yeah, unless they're just bougie enough to not have the middle seat.
They're like, that guy looks like he's never had a big guy sit next to him. Once you go sit next to that guy. Do me a favor, just cough.
They look a little too comfortable. Let's make them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Too happy on this flight.
Exactly. No one should be happy on a flight.
Why is he smiling? Put a big guy next to that guy.
Unless they're in first class, right. So with that, you know, when you're stuck in the airplane and you just want to get down, it's kind of getting hot. The oxygen isn't as cold anymore. Like, how do you find hope in those moments?
That's a good question. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to. And I wouldn't know where that hope would come from, Jesus aside. So,
sure.
As my wife, you obviously know, I love Jesus. Nothing that I found, and this is, I guess, probably why you're talking to me about it, in this life satisfies me. Very unsatisfied with life in general. And not just because life is tough, because it is,
Right.
That's just life. Life is tough. But what I hold on to is the hope, because the Bible tells us to hold on to hope.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I believe one day I'm going to become this amazing pro musician, Coldplay-esque. Like, I'm a very realist, I think, when I talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not some pipe dream that I have no plan to get to. It's putting your hope in the Lord for me.
Yeah.
It's because I look at it like, if you're in the music industry, like there's no formula to become full-time music. It's just doing a handful of things correctly, and you just end up in the right room at the right time.
Right.
So there's no formula. So it's not like, okay, I can make 10 steps and then I'll be there. That's not a thing. So you can't see it. So you have to have hope.
It's preparation meeting opportunity.
Nice. But my hope is in the Lord. It's just hoping that He's given me this gift, and I'm going to use it for His glory in whatever aspect He wants me to, and hoping that, hey, He gave me this gift for a reason.
Yeah.
I stay available. I stay open to His calling. Then He's going to place me there.
Right.
To be ready.
That's good. I know that a lot of times in the process of life, we have to enjoy the journey, right? Ugh. But it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. Enjoy the journey. Are you enjoying the journey? Make sure you enjoy the journey.
I love that voice.
Right? It's just you hear everyone saying it on Instagram, like, don't forget to stop and smell the roses.
Right.
Just all these little cliche moments that I'm just like, ugh. But there's truth to it.
Right.
So do you find that when you get unsatisfied, you are blinded to the roses?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So do I.
So I think for me, and you can witness this now being in my life for an extended period of time, you understand. You've seen it firsthand. So usually I'm doing great, everything's fine, and then I'll dip all of a sudden. And that dip is like, what is happening? Like,
right.
What is life right now?
The existential questions about life.
Nothing's going right. I'm doing everything right. This is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And some people sit in that for days, weeks, and luckily I kind of bounce back real quick. I usually get it like once or twice a month, but it lasts like just a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I kind of view it like David in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
And he is in this field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tending to the sheep. And he defeated Goliath, and that was great. And I kind of view that as like, okay, I've done some great things. I feel things I am proud of, things I've accomplished, but they're not my end all.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
right.
David beating Goliath is not his end all. But where did David go right after he left defeating Goliath? Right back to the field. And that is kind of where I feel
that's really interesting.
I am most of the time in life. I'm in the field.
So you get to like go out and do something nice, but then you're back at the field.
Exactly. And it's like, dude, that was a monumental moment in David's life. Just like some of the things I've done, I feel have been monumental in my life.
Yeah.
But then you're back to the field. But then
and you don't want to be in the field.
Exactly. You're like, I killed this dude. Like, I just played this sold out show. I should be moving on to the next thing, not going back to my job at Starbucks at the time.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? And the whole stop and smell the roses for me is less take the time to enjoy it. That's the time that God is refining you and breaking off pieces of your character that are like molding you into more the person he wants you to be able to handle where he has for you.
Yeah.
And where it comes in with like hope that the Lord's going to give it to me is I have a dream of where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I also know that that dream is nothing compared to what the Lord has for me.
But
It's
what
like,
if the dream that you have is what the Lord gave to you?
What do you mean?
So like, let's say I don't know specifically what you're talking about with the dream, but let's say your dream is to play for a big artist and tour with a big artist for 5 years.
Okay.
Let's just say that's your dream. But you also, prayed about it and made sure it was in alignment with what God wanted, and it seems like it does. Then that's also a God dream.
Definitely.
For you. So you were just saying that it may not be. So I'm asking, what if it is?
If it is, that's great. Specifically to me, I feel like I'm not on that same wavelength as some, like when God speaks to me. I don't hear a voice. It's just me reading the Bible because the Bible is God breathed, and I feel Him speaking to me through that.
Right. God talks to people in different ways.
He's not so specific with me in the sense of, here's the big plan.
Sure. Well, I'm not saying He is with me either. You were just talking about having a dream that God may not have given you, and I was just being the devil's advocate in that moment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So with stopping and smelling the roses, do you find that when you get unsatisfied, and you, like you said, you're blind to smelling the roses, right? When you're unsatisfied, do you find that during moments of, I guess since your moments of being unsatisfied are short, this won't really apply to you too much, but like, for example, when I'm unsatisfied for a long time.
Okay.
Days. So then when I pass roses, I'm pissed.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to smell those fucking roses.
Yeah.
Like,
But what roses?
like I'm like, I'm not going to enjoy the small things. I don't got what I want. I want the big thing.
Exactly.
I'm pissed. Like, fuck you and your roses.
Yeah.
Like, someone could be shoving them in my face for free and say that they were going to last me for the rest of my life, which, by the way, they do make those like forever roses, and they're real and they're amazing. And I gave my mom one of them a long time ago. It was really expensive. Anyways, so.
Do you still have it? She better.
Actually, I think it only lasts. Actually, I only think it lasts a year.
It's not even real?
No, it is real.
Oh, I mean, like, for
it's not
life?
forever. No, I think it's like 1 year.
If that isn't marketing.
I know, right? But as someone who gets pissed, it's hard to enjoy the small things, the process, the journey, whatever you want to say. But my question for you is does that happen to you? Because you have such short spurts of dissatisfaction.
So I will say, at a normal day, the amount of dissatisfaction is probably 30%.
On a normal...
constant day.
That's so interesting.
I know. So it's not like it's gone, and then one day it's like, I'm here.
I feel like everyone kind of has that going on, but maybe they just don't even recognize it in the forefront of their mind. Maybe it's a subconscious thought where yours is a conscious thought. Yes. Because I feel like
I try to be very intentional. So I need to know what's going on with me.
That's so interesting because I think subconsciously I'm like at a 10% every day. But I don't really think about it.
Oh,
because
it's always on my mind.
Because I know I have to be positive. I'm not trying to make this all about me, but now I'm kind of discovering.
No, I'm good. Let's go.
I'm realizing now I'm like having to be positive, or I slump into negative very easy for a long period of time because I'm an emotional person.
Okay. So you're choosing to be positive.
I have to choose to be positive.
Otherwise, I see what you're saying. Otherwise, that negativity will...
I will be depressed.
It will overrun you.
And I have been depressed.
Okay.
Because circumstantially, I was unsatisfied.
That makes sense. See, mine is different. Mine looks like, instead of consciously choosing you have to be positive, I have to be doing things.
You distract.
I distract hardcore.
That's
That's
so
why
funny.
I work all the time.
That's like an Enneagram 7.
Really?
Yeah, they avoid pain.
I'll check in with it, but what I do is, so it'll sit there, and then at a point it will. Usually, the point is when I'm idle. I'm not doing anything, or I have the
I'm
day.
not home. You're by yourself.
Yeah, I have the day off or something, and there's literally nothing to do, and I'm sitting. It's then that 30 goes up to like a 90.
Yeah.
So, and then I will confront it. So it's not like
How do you confront it?
I just like to lay it out. Why am I dissatisfied?
And
I will break down
the reasons. Can you give me an example?
Yes.
Like a real life.
Okay, yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday?
I don't remember.
Okay. The day you were your hair.
Yeah.
The day you were getting your hair done, I had the day all to myself.
Yeah.
And I had already did an oil change on the car and a tire rotation on a day off. So it was just me chilling by myself.
Yeah.
That day it hit and I was like pissed, but also just like, well, very dissatisfied. And it goes from I am dissatisfied because I'm not where I want to be financially. It's just really short of goals, short of dreams. I'm not where I want to be in music. I don't have a Harley yet again. And, we said 2 years and it's been 3, and that's not.
No, it's been 2.
2 years. 2 years of married.
Yeah.
And that's strictly because of finances. So again, not where we want to be
so
financially.
So then you get even more pissed because you don't have finances.
Pissed, and then exactly. So it's these things that I'm like, ugh.
So you're just thinking through like how you're discussing with me right now.
Yes, and it all comes down to I am not where I want to be in life.
Okay. And then it boils down to the like categories in life.
Yes.
Which is finances and career.
Yes. Finances,
and whatever else.
Career, enjoyment, things that fill my heart, that make me feel satisfied, knowing that I'm not. There are moments when I will feel satisfied in that moment, and it's awesome. When you're on a Harley and you're going 80 down the highway and their cold front just came in. Amazing moment.
That's your enjoyment category.
I'm satisfied in my enjoyment category.
Yeah.
Satisfied. Never 100% though.
Never 100% what?
Fulfilled. In every category.
Even when you're doing that?
In every category.
That's very sad.
I know. It sucks. And
why is that?
I don't know. So like, let's say, take the whole...
You know what's funny is that's the same for me and I just didn't realize it.
I think it's the same with a lot of people.
But I think that's because when you're an adult and life is hard, there's always
something.
There's always something in life.
You're
that
not
you're
a kid,
with.
and then you get your pizza party, and you're like, "Life's great."
Because there's nothing else, literally, that I have to deal with in life ever.
Exactly. And
interesting.
There are so many different avenues and areas, which I think it's good to analyze those areas. So, as much as it sucks to sit in that moment of like, I'm unsatisfied with this, and I'm unsatisfied with this. It does allow me to list everything out in my head and just attack it realistically in the sense of like, okay, well, in this area, I'm unsatisfied. Can I do anything about that in this moment?
Right. Do you find that you can ever?
Sometimes. So like sometimes if it's financially, I'll look for a small job or something to do for money to
You're
get
a very
get me out of
actions-based
that.
person.
Yes,
now.
it's very actions.
Yeah.
So there are times when I say, you know what, I can do better in this area. There are things I can do.
Which I love that you do that. It's like one of my
people,
favorite. It's one of my favorite qualities.
It's like when people say, "Thank you." Check in on your friends. Like you got to check in on yourself. And
yeah.
I think as much as people don't check in on their friends, like, hey man, how's it going? Ask yourself that.
first.
For like not like
or maybe second. I don't know.
How are you doing? Please don't talk about me. More of like a, hey, how we doing? To yourself. And instead of like, I'm good. It's like, no, what's going on?
Yeah.
To have that every now and then. And it's those moments I get low where I can see where I'm unsatisfied, see if there's anything I can do about it. And honestly, I'll say, well, is there anything I can do right now? And if there's not, there is obviously. Okay, cool. Let's make a pattern. Let's make a little list here to get there to start filling that satisfaction up in that area. And if there's not, why am I upset about it? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be dissatisfied in this area for the time being if there's nothing you can do about it.
So then when you ask yourself, why am I upset about it? Can you give us a reason why? Like an example?
So it usually comes with things that I don't have control of.
So are you upset that you don't have control?
No, I'm just upset that it hasn't happened.
You're upset with the time frame.
I don't need the control. Yes. So good example would be like you were talking about earlier, music. Me doing music. Am I doing music full time? No, I am not. Do I wish I was? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not there yet. And I don't know why. And that's frustrating. I'm very unsettled in the fact that I'm not.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, there's not a formula. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think also it's really great that you're being vulnerable with this because I don't know how many people know you that are listening, but you are so talented playing bass. Like, I mean, come on. Everyone who sees you play bass is just like, they want you on their album. They want, like, they're telling me how good you are because they're almost like intimidated to tell you because you're so good. And so I feel like,
thank you.
Yeah, I feel like
yeah. Yeah, whatever.
The people like, and maybe the people, someone that's listening knows that they're really talented, or maybe they don't, and they know someone that is really talented at something, and they also, quote, aren't getting the recognition they deserve, or don't have the job that they should have, that they're going after. And it's just nice, not that it's nice that you aren't doing music full time, but it is nice to see that someone who's so talented and is going after it actively, as backwards as this is, it's nice to see that you are handling your dissatisfaction well, time and time again, when either a mini door is open to you and it's not the big door, or big doors are closed to you, because that's what's been happening.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of happening to people all over the place all the time. Or there's just no doors. And
that's what's tough.
And that's, sadly, reality. Sometimes you just feel like you're in the wilderness or in the desert, and you're just like looking around, and there's not a building, there's not a water well, there's nothing in sight, and you're just like, what direction do I walk in?
Exactly.
Because I can't see a path anywhere. And that kind of gets into like a different territory other than being unsatisfied. But I hope that's coming across well when I say that, like, it's weirdly nice that you, being so talented, are handling something like this so well, when you could be like, what the hell? Like, I'm so good. I should have this. And you almost are so unsatisfied that you get unhealthy in the way you go about it. And then that's kind of when people either like don't have the longevity to see their dreams come to fruition.
Yeah. That's good.
But I feel like you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Even though it feels really sucky when you're unsatisfied.
Well, I think what I like to do is something I've tried doing in the past, and I think really works, is it's not just about blank. It's not like bass. You are a human.
Oh, like life isn't about playing the bass.
Yeah, like your dissatisfaction. If I'm not getting gigs, I can't just boil it down to, oh, I'm an incredible bass player. Why am I not getting gigs? You can ask yourself that question, but there is, as a human being, bass aside, there are always things you can work on. No one is done growing at a certain age. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, even the Bible, I forget who it is. I think maybe Solomon asks God pretty much is like, anything you want, I'll give it to you right now. And they asked for wisdom. And
what a thing
could
to
have
ask
asked for money.
Yeah.
And God goes, all right, here's wisdom. And because you asked for wisdom and not money or land or power, I'm going to give that to you as well. And it just goes to show, like, there is so much to be worked on as a human being besides your talent. Be a better human. You should never have idle hands in the sense of just sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for somebody to come pick you up and that's your career. Oh, yeah, I'm just waiting at the bus stop. And
been there, done that, nothing happens.
I know, exactly. So there is always, so when someone says like, always be working, if there are no gigs, cool, work on yourself.
Yeah, right.
Be a better person. Mm-hmm. Be someone who's going to be there for other people. There are always things to work on to be better.
Other than your career.
Other than that direct link to why you are unsatisfied.
Oh, that's so good.
Because I know, and a year ago, I probably wouldn't have known this.
Yeah.
That's not going to satisfy me.
Your career.
Whatever you put in there.
Whatever it is, yeah.
You've heard testimonies from people with billions of dollars,
right?
Not satisfied with money. You name it, and really, and I think that's why, if you really want to get into it, I am so unsatisfied. Is because I personally think, and I have no evidence to back this up, that disconnect between my soul and the Lord, because of sin, and because we live in a fallen world. That's the dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
I can do everything my heart desires. Earthly.
Right.
Feed the homeless. Sell out a stadium.
Have a family.
Playing shows. I could be the Rolling Stones and still selling out stadiums. That will never, and I know, that will never fully satisfy me.
Yeah.
Because I will still be wanting blank.
And I feel like that's always going to be the case until we die.
Exactly. There's a Kanye song when he talks about like not having money, and he's like, they're having money problems, and you're like, that's cool, like we've all been there. But then you have, and I can't relate to this one, but you have kids, and then I remember my really good friend, probably my best friend, I had complained to him about like, I'm so broke at this moment. This was like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he also at the time being super broke, just had a kid, full-time full-time school, full-time work. And I had complained and he was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I was just working, like, and I was broke. And in the Kanye song, he talks about like, that's cool. Like, everybody has a problem. Everybody's broke, and we have children. Like, so don't talk to me like about being broke when I'm broke and I have a kid.
That's really interesting because I advocate for the single person as well.
Oh, it's because we're all broken. We're all dissatisfied in some area.
Yeah.
And
like, just because you have I'm not trying to hate on any parents here.
No, go ahead.
But like, just because you have
no, hate on them. Go.
Right. Just because you have a kid and you're broke, and if I'm broke and I don't have a kid, doesn't mean that I'm not as broke as you.
Exactly.
In fact, I might be more broke than them.
Right.
So who are they to be like, okay. It's like when you say you're tired to a newborn, a mother who has a newborn, and you're not you're not a parent. And she's like, okay, clearly look at me, I'm not sleeping. And it's like, well, who's to say I'm not sleeping?
Right. We're not discrediting anyone's lack of tiredness.
Right.
It's funny. It's kind of like the mental health game, if you want to get into that.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm depressed. Well, I'm depressed and I have anxiety. Well, I'm depressed and I have anxiety and I have
panic attacks.
Exactly.
And I have,
it's like,
depression.
All right, bro. This isn't a one-up session. Like,
and that's not something you want to one-up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, people have it, so.
Yeah, but it's just acknowledging that there's something there, and moving on from it.
Right.
I think.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless your soul. I think my dad is someone. He's your classic like Southern. You could like break his entire body, and he's like, I'm fine. But then he gets the flu, and he's like, this is it.
This is the death of me.
You guys take care. I don't know why he's
so
Brooklyn
funny.
accent from the South, but sorry, it's my dad.
That's what you want. What you want him to be.
And there's this mentality of like, there's no emotion. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's great. I don't want to talk about it. Everything's great. And that's just not, we're in such a state of people nowadays where everyone's talking so much about the problems. That instead of the previous culture where it was like, all right, we don't talk about it.
Oh, in the past generation?
Yes.
Baby boomer generation?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Where they don't talk about the problem at all. You just kind of leave it. All right, well, not talking about that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you have to talk about it. It's open to talk about. You need to do that. You need to address it. You need to address your discontentment with life, with whatever issue that is making you unsatisfied. Because if you don't address it,
you can't start.
You can't handle it. You can't begin to understand how to live with that. And as a Christian, I know I'm going to live with that my whole life, living in a broken world, being unsatisfied, knowing that God is truly the only one that does satisfy. You're in it.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It's really interesting.
You look super hot, by the way.
Thank
I don't know if I
you.
can say that on the podcast.
I mean, you just did.
Oh.
So there it is.
Consider it said.
Oh my God.
She's hot.
I mean, that was a really good point. I kind of want to end it there. I think we're just going to end it there.
Okay.
That was really good. I'm like, I took away some good points from that. You just gave really great action steps. I can compliment you off the podcast. I don't need to compliment you on the podcast.
Okay.
That'll take up time. So we're gonna stop it there, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already followed Jordan on Instagram, you can go follow him at Jordan Ray Landers. Full name. Or you can go follow the podcast at Live Sick Die Ill Podcast on Instagram. And I think that's all we have for you. Please like, subscribe, rate to the podcast wherever you're listening. Leave a comment if you can, and just interact. It'll really help. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.